So maybe the entries from my other lists just aren't cheap enough and you're still looking for something even cheaper, but still fun and somewhat fast. Well, guess what? Here we are. Once again, I'll start this list off with an entry from Pontiac, the Grand Prix GT. This is probably the most common car on my campus. I see a lot of college students who own this car. I can't blame them either, as it isn't that half bad for the price. It's a cheap and great way to get a car of 200 horsepower. The 3.8 liter V6 it has isn't the most fuel efficient thing in the world, but it's a strong runner. These cars were built pretty soundly, as several of them are capable of lasting well over 100,000 miles. That's important too, since the majority of these cars that you will find on the used market most likely already have over 100 grand miles. If you want something with a more sporty appearance, the two-door variant has a pretty clean and sleek appearance to it. The car has some aftermarket support, but I imagine that's not really important since the target audience for this video already has trouble buying a damn car, much less modding it. Oh, and this car only comes in automatic. So yeah. I had to put this entry on this list as I myself own a Sentra. Mine may be newer, but it's slow compared to this champ. A 2005 Nissan Sentra SER Spec V can easily be found around 2 grand, and it's a lot of bang for the buck. Even if you find one with almost 200k miles on it, chances are it probably still has quite the amount of good years left in it. Despite only making 175 horsepower, this car is very light, which makes it quite nimble and gives the car some character. Which is more than I can say for my soulless, boring Sentra. This is the youngest car on this list, meaning that all the other entries are older. So if having a mid-2000s car gives you some peace of mind, this car is definitely something you should consider taking a look at. If you're looking for a compact car but aren't quite the fan of a Sentra or Japanese cars in general, then a 2003 Volkswagen Jetta 1.8T GLS is a nice alternative. If you really want to put the turbocharged 4-banger to good use, then make sure to pick the 5-speed manual option. A fellow classmate of mine actually owned one of these, and I'm proud to admit that this was actually the first car that I learned to drive manual on. It's surprisingly fun, especially for someone looking for a first car. It's also a humble start and not too intimidating to drive. So it's easy for someone to learn to drive manual on while at the same time still being moderately enjoyable. Honestly, you don't need over 300 horsepower to have fun, especially when first starting out, as a lot of power in the hands of the irresponsible isn't exactly well spent. I imagine you're probably really sick of all these front-wheel drive cars, so here's a mix-up. The 325i is rear-wheel drive, whereas the 325xi is all-wheel drive. In regards to specs, they are pretty similar across the board, so it's all up to personal preference. If you want something that will peel away from some fun, the rear-wheel drive is a good choice, but if you live somewhere with rough terrain or shitty weather, then an all-wheel drive could be a good investment. However, if you're some crazy bastard who would still prefer to drive the rear-wheel drive one regardless of the condition, then go ahead and do it. Personal preference, my friend. Don't let some random YouTuber on the internet tell you what to do. Just keep in mind that this is a BMW, so don't expect repairs to be cheap, especially when the situation arises. It's not uncommon for people to basically spend the same amount on repairs than they did on buying the damn car, so find one in as good condition as possible, even if that means you have to buy one a couple thousand more. This is my favorite Eclipse in regards to styling. I grew up using this car in Midnight Club 3, Dub Edition, and damn, I still like its styling. Some people think it looks a bit feminine, but I personally don't think so, nor do I really care. And you shouldn't either, since for a car under 2 grand, it's a solid choice. With 200 horsepower, a 3-liter V6, and weighing around 3,000 pounds, the car feels very balanced. The aftermarket for this car is amazing, so if you're a high schooler who is too goddamn lazy to get a job until the summer before university, and you want a fun, fast, cheap, and upgradable car to get you through college, then this entry's for you. A car is a great investment, and saving up for one is no joke. So if you've decided you want one after all, but you only have one summer left to work, but you realize it'll take a couple years of working to get that Lancer you wanted, then guess what? Maybe it's time you might have to just lower your standards and buy this Eclipse instead. The most underpowered entry on this list, but by no means a horrible car. In fact, I originally got the idea for this video as a complete joke, but it turns out that I actually found really awesome cars. This Legacy is no exception, as it is also an awesome car for the price. This is a great reliable all-wheel drive car for those who are in need of one, as the aforementioned BMW 325xi can end up being a box of surprises. For someone who wants a car that is predictable and does exactly what you want from it, then here you go. It won't give you too much trouble, but it won't be the most fun experience in the world either. That's okay though. Hell, even if you're not a car guy and you've somehow found your way to this video and never in your life do you intend to become a car guy, then guess what? You're a fucking normie. And you know what? That's okay. because there are plenty of cars designed specifically for normies, and I understand that we all have our own passions and interests. At the very least though, try your best to take good care of your car and get as many good years as possible out of it, so you can make some good memories with it. I hope you found one of these entries to your liking, and if you didn't, then either do some research on your own or find a way to increase your budget so you can watch my other videos about cars under 10 grand. Like this video, share with friends, and if you like an automotive and gaming channel that uploads regularly, then subscribe. Thanks for watching, Blade Angel out.